Yeah, I find that people they get upset only if they don't need your services. But if
Mhm.
they need your services, they would like chase you to
Yeah.
hire you. And I think that's the importance of knowing what your target audience's pain points. Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Kristy Yoder, host of the Master Delegator Podcast. The Master Delegator Podcast is for busy and overwhelmed entrepreneurs who want to learn how to become effective in the area of delegation and learn how to hire great virtual assistants to help them scale their business and have more time and freedom. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing and don't forget to click the notification bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. Alright, let's get started. Hey, welcome to the Master Delegator Podcast. Today I have a guest joining me to share how he was able to build a six-figure revenue business in less than 9 months. His name is Jeremy Blubaugh. He is the Chief Prospecting Officer and owner at Coinflip Marketing. He is passionate and creative entrepreneur who absolutely loves to hunt for new business. He helps sales professionals to get more clients and referrals by teaching and implementing personalization into their outreach. Welcome, Jeremy. I'm so excited to
Ah,
get to know you today. I know that we already talked a little bit before we start recording, but I want to know more about you. So, can you tell me what CoinFlip marketing is and how exactly do you help sales professional get more clients through teaching them and implementing personalization?
sure. And thanks for having me, Kristy. It's great to finally like sit down and chat with you. So
Yeah.
I always start with this when I talk to someone. Every business owner or salesperson has that coveted prospect or prospects. They just can't land that meeting. Coinflip marketing, we make those meetings happen. Hence the name Coinflip marketing. We try to give our clients odds greater than 50% that we make that meeting happen. And how we do that is we implement personalization. And when I tell people, think about all the emails, outreaches, videos, whatever you've got in the last 90 days, how of them are truly personal about you, the problems you might be able to solve for that business owner, and really teach them how to do that. To be honest with you, I would say 90% of the people say, Jeremy, I hear what you're saying. I want to do it, but I'd rather just hire you to do the work. There's 10% when I do in a consulting business, they say, you know what, Jeremy, I do want to learn that and I want to teach my team to do that. And I'll come in and consult for them and teach them and educate them. But I just did that about 6 months for a team, and they came back to me and said, this is too much. We want to hire you. So, because it is a lot of work. I think people get freaked out when we talk about what personalization is and the amount of work to go into it. But once you learn and actually listen to people, do some research on them, if you don't know anything about them because they're not clients yet, and take that data and you really know how to use it, it really gives you the outreach odds of 50% because it's completely different than what anybody else is out there doing. So then in the nutshell, you could say I teach salespeople and business people to be different in their outreach.
That sounds cool. I want to understand more, the way how you do personalization. So is this like a secret formula that you provide, or is that something that you can share with us? I mean, you don't have to like go in depth, but when you say personalization, do you look at their like maybe LinkedIn account, Instagram account, YouTube channel, or whatever accounts they have, and look at their recent, activity or transactions or whatever that is, and once you have the information that you need, do you then reach out to them via email, social media, or do you mail it?
Yeah, so good question. I'll gladly talk about it. It's not like one of those like you work for the government. If I tell you, I gotta like, kind of like kill you type topics. It's nothing like that. You're spot on, Kristy. It's taking all the data that's out there, and I'll go two ways with this. There's the prospecting and there's the current client base. So for a prospect, let's say I wanted to get you, Kristy, as a client. I wanted to start a conversation with you. The baseline, what I teach everybody about is before there's a decision, there's engagement. Before there's engagement, there's attention. If I can't get Kristy's attention, game over. It's never going to happen, right? maybe 3 or 4 years from now when your business starts to grow, you might get her attention, but you're not going to get her attention now. So how do you do that? You research her. You find out things that she likes. You find out what potentially pain points that she might have as a business owner that you can highlight in your outreach. I'm big on using names. I'm big on using pictures. And to your point, I take the differentiated approach with my clients. Everybody's using email. Everybody's using social media. Let's go back to the 1980s and let's use the US mail. Let's deliver a package that gets that person's attention. That says, wow, this person really did some research on me. They really want to get my attention. They really want to have that meeting. We call them wow mailers. I want the end user, when they open that package, say, wow, this person really wants to meet with me and talk to me. So that's what we do when we implement personalization.
I get excited when you mention about wow mailers. You email it, not email, you mail it to their physical address, and then when they get something, they would like think about you, because nobody do that kind of thing anymore. Like, it's very rare for people to send out mail. Like, everything now is digital. So I totally agree. When you receive something, it makes you happy, because like, that person takes, time and energy, effort to go to the postal office to send this to me. So that alone is something that would make a person happy already.
Yeah, so think of it this way. Look, I get stuff in the mail all the time. It's usually spam. It's usually, if it is an outreach thing from a real estate agent or an accountant or a financial advisor, it's terrible. It doesn't get your attention. Hey, come to this steak dinner. Hey, I want to sell your house. It's cheap, it's generic. So the hindsight is you got to have your ideal client profile, and I help a lot of people identify what that is. And then let's get Navy SEAL approach. Let's go after Kristy. Let's not shotgun approach and try to make it work for 10,000 people. Let's take that money you would spend on 10,000 people and get laser focused on 100 to 200 people. And let's meet with 100 of them. And these 100 people, if you identified and did the ideal client profile all right, are going to be game changers if they become clients for your business, versus spraying, hope type of strategy. And I mentioned earlier, kind of on the prospecting too, I do a lot with your current client base. What do you know about your clients? So when it comes time to wow them, that you can create that wow moment. And when I sit down and talk to people, what do you know about their client? I deal with a lot of financial advisors. They go into the financial and, well, Kristy's got some accounts with me. She's been a client for 5 years. Oh, I think she has a kid. I think she has a dog. Like, they don't know. And I said, well, okay, let's do some research. But as you start to meet with Kristy again over the years, start asking her personal questions and start documenting that information, so you can deliver a wow moment to say, wow, my financial advisor really listens to me. And not only does he really listen to me, he cares, and they did something about it. And to your point, you get something in the mail. I always try to deliver a personalized card, but also a personalized gift that's about them. That's more important, that gift's tangible, which means it's going to be on their coffee room table. It's going to be in their office. It's going to be in their meeting room. And it's going to spark that conversation. Oh, I really like that gift. Where'd it come from? Oh, my financial advisor sent that to me. And it almost creates free advertising for the business owner. It wasn't free, right? It cost money to send the gift, but it almost creates that free advertising approach, because it's starting conversations that you never would have started if you just continued to do what you always did.
Right, exactly. So how do you get their physical address? Did you ask them about it, or do you have like a tool that you use?
Yeah, so it's almost 2022. There's a lot of websites out there that will scrub data for you. It's a little freaky, if you ask me, sometimes the data that's out there, but it's always been there. It's just now all in one place. So yeah, I have some tools that I use. Seamless.ai is one of them. AI Identified is another one of them. I know there's like Zoom Info that's out there. I don't use that one. But I mean, if you want someone's address, we can get it. It's pretty easy. Now, is it the correct address? It's not always going to be the correct address. Usually most of the right about 95% of the time. So you're going to miss sometimes. But, that's why I teach people too about being different, trying something different. You do 100 of them, you're going to miss with 2 or 3, right? You're going to upset Kristy, or you're going to maybe get a negative reaction for Kristy. But the benefits that you're going to get from the 9,700 that you have a significant impact with, is so much more beneficial for your business than those three negative, events. And when they're negative, it's not negative. It's just, hey, like, thanks, but leave me alone. It's never like, don't ever do that again. It's just, leave me alone. It's a typical pushback you get in sales, right? Just leave me alone. Okay. See you later.
Yeah, right. By the way, I use Seamless.ai
Yeah.
as well for LinkedIn outreach and sales
Yep.
call. And
Yeah. It's a great tool.
yeah, I find that people, they get upset only if they don't need your services. But if they need your services, they would like chase you to hire you. And I think that's the importance of knowing what your target audience's pain points. And you mentioned that earlier. You mentioned that when you do your prospecting, you have to make sure that you're engaging, you're getting their attention, and you talk about their pain points and all that kind of stuff. So how did you get this idea? Like, I mean, why go back the old way? Like some marketing agencies, they focus on Facebook, Instagram, and all the digital stuff. Like, how did you get this idea?
Yeah. So it really started 5 years ago. I read a book by a guy named John Ruhlin called Giftology. If you're not familiar who he is, he's all over LinkedIn. You should pick out the book. And he is a guy that uses gift to return or maximize what he calls return on relationships. And when I read that book back in 2016, I was in the financial services industry. I read it. I love, we talked about it. I think I read it again like the next week. I loved it so much. But a lot of what he did, we couldn't do because of the rules and regulations that go in the financial service industry. It's a perfect example on LinkedIn a few weeks ago. I posted about it. I asked John if I could share it. For a few friends of his that are authors, he actually sent Dabo Sweeney a gift. I think it had to be $5-10 grand. I don't know how much it was. It was way more than any financial advisor could ever spend on a client. So perfect example, anybody in the investment business spends $101 on a client, they're fired. They're banned from the industry. You can't spend more than $100 a year on a particular client, or you get slapped in the wrist. If you do it a second time, you're banned. It's a no-no. So I said, well, how do you do what he's doing in this business? And that's where I really learned about getting deep personalization really is the answer, is maybe doubling down on the research, creating personalized cards that go along with it versus the handwritten note, using pictures, using names in the cards to get their attention, and then adding a personalized gift with it. So it's kind of a double whammy of personalization being attacked from both sides. They open the box, there's this nice gift that's personalized to them, then they open up the card and they're like, whoa, this is amazing, this is the best thing. That's the thing that keeps me going. That's my why in my business, is when a client sends me an email or sends me this voicemail, hey, listen what this person said on the thing that we put together for them. And most of the time it's, hey, I've never seen anything like this before. This is fantastic. There's no way you did this yourself. Who'd you hire? That's a shout out to myself. I'm trying to, but yeah, so that's where it came about. And that's kind of where I play now. I play in that financial service industry. I know the rules and regulations. I'm looking to expand as I build out my ideal client profile outside the financial services industry. But I think that's where I've been in that industry for 15 years. I said I know how to kind of maneuver within that industry.
That's awesome. And you started your business in 2019, right? If I'm not mistaken, or 2020.
Call it 2019 was a side hustle. It wasn't a full-time job until January 7th this year. So long story short, August last year, I knew my corporate America job was coming to an end. I kind of put the kibosh on it and started really building the infrastructure for Coinflip marketing. Wasn't really quite ready till about March 1st. So really kind of March 1st was when I really kind of went live this year. But I was kind of doing on the side, kind of testing it, make sure it was going to work for other people. Like, is it just working for me because it's my style? And so I started doing it for a few other people. It worked for them. And I realized, like, I have an idea here that become a full-fledged business, and here we are. So.
Wow, congratulations. I remember when I also quit my corporate job and I took the leap of faith. I was like, oh, this is kind of scary, but it's okay. I'm a risk taker. Let's do this. And after a couple of months, boom, I'm like, I'm never going back to corporate anymore. So congratulations for just
thank you, and congrats to you.
Your business. Thank you. So walk us through how did you build, a 6-figure revenue business in 9 months? Because I don't think a lot of people have done that. So let us know, like, what are the things that you did? What are the things that you change? Or what
Yeah,
are the things that you start and stop doing in order to get to where you are right now?
yeah. I'll start by saying this. 10 months in, I still don't know what I'm doing. Joking by all means, but I think every business kind of has those pivot points, right? Those aha moments, and we were talking about it before we got on the call. And I would say 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, I read The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. If you haven't read that book and you're a business owner, I highly check it out. If you haven't read it, Kristy, check it out. And pretty much what that book talks about is every business needs the technician, the manager, and the entrepreneur, right? And I read it again earlier this year, and I said, holy cow, I'm the technician in my business. Like, if I were to go away 2 weeks, my business is over with. Like, there is no business, there is no revenue. I am the person creating it. And once I'm gone, there is no business. It is done. And then, as I told you, probably like 2 weeks later, I joined this masterminds class called the King of Sparta. And the first call Tuesday, we meet at 12 o'clock on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, was come together prepared to talk about your not to-do list. Like, what do you want to take off your plate? And I'm like, okay, aha. That's right when I started thinking about, okay, I need to hire a virtual assistant to get some of the stuff off my plate to start delegating. I think within like a week, you had emailed me. And then like 2 days later, one of my best clients shoots out, greets me, calls like, hey, you got to read this book. It's called Who, Not How. It's by Jim Sullivan. Talk about the ultimate, who, not how. He paid someone else to write the book, right? And slaps his name on it. That's the ultimate who, not how, right? He didn't even write the book, and he's making money from it. And so it all kind of came together. And then I started reaching out to a lot of VAs, found some okay ones. I found the best one, which is you guys. But really, I found is when you start to delegate, that's when you can start to scale. You can start being that entrepreneur. When I was able to take all that little stuff off the plate, that number one, I really did enjoy doing, but also some of that little stuff that creates the revenue that needs to be done. That's when I did it. It was just the aha moments. If I want to scale, I want to grow, I want to become and get my business where I want to get it to, I have to do it. It's scary, it's tough, and I was nervous, but now I'm not. I mean, I consider your group my team, and they do phenomenal work, and I'm impressed. So
That is so good to hear. And as far as I know, you are a type A personality. You have a type A personality and you are now a delegator. I mean, I know what a type A person is, but maybe some of our listeners do not know what a type A is. Can you tell me what a type A person is, and why do you think it's hard for a type A person to delegate? And how did you overcome that challenge?
yeah, so I think I just define type A, type person. Anybody can define. I define it like, hey, if it needs to get done right, it's got to be done by me, is the way I always kind of looked at it. So I don't know if that's the true definition of type A, but that's kind of how I define it. And that's who I was. And now that I'm 6 months into delegating, 5 months, whatever it is, if I would have known what I know now in my corporate career, I could have been so much more effective, so much more profitable, been able to generate so many more sales, because I was doing all the little things in my corporate America job that someone else should have been doing. So I could go out and see more people and generate more sales. I don't have the secret answer how I got over it. I just realized that everybody I talk to that I have respect for, that's growing business, pretty much pushed me to the edge and said, you need to go do this. Or in 2 years ago, you're going to hate your life. You're going to be doing all the work that you don't want to do. And you're going to go back to corporate America, because you're just going to create, once again, you have a job. You don't really have a business. You're not working on your business. You're working in it. So I said, you know what? I got to do it. I want to scale. I want to grow a successful business. I want to be in the front of, Forbes magazine maybe someday. And you can't do that. You need people around you. You need capable people. And what I found, and what we talk about a lot in our masterminds class here, as I'm rambling a little bit, is if you can find somebody who can do 80% of what you do, that's good enough. And I would argue your team probably does a better job with the tasks that I outsourced than I was doing. So, it's a home run.
That's awesome. And so why did you not delegate before? Why were you the only one doing the task? Is it because you don't know who to delegate to, or is it because you think that you're the only one who can do it? I mean, you don't want any other people to touch your projects.
Yeah, I think option B there, right? It's you just don't want anybody else to go along with the ride with you, have that success. You want to say it's all you. And I mean, you look at any successful business owner out there, it's all about their people and their team and their culture. It's not about them. Yeah, they're the ones who have the vision of the company. I know Elon Musk always says this, right? He says, I didn't go to Harvard, but I have a lot of people in my business that did go to Harvard, right? It's all about hiring great people. He's the visionary and he needed to learn to delegate. Now, and I would probably argue Elon Musk is probably the largest type A personality on the planet, if not top 5. So, and he can do it, but I think he understands how business works. It's not a living, breathing business if you don't have people in it helping you out, get to what your goals are going to be, and obviously staying within the values that your company aligns with.
Right. I love Elon Musk.
Yeah,
he's very creative.
Yeah, I gotta admit, at first I wasn't a fan. But as I got to know him and read about him and what he was doing over the years, I became a believer in who he is and what he's doing. I was a naysayer at first, but I missed the boat on that one. But oh well.
He's a risk taker, which I love because it's so inspiring to see a fellow entrepreneur who is also a risk taker, and you can just learn from those people.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you started delegating tasks to virtual assistants, how did it change your life? Like, what were the tasks that you were able to do that matters in your business when you started delegating?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that matters to me first is more time with my family, the kids. And it's not necessarily that I was not spending time with them. It was my mind wasn't there. I wasn't where my feet were, right? I was thinking about the things that needed to get done. Now, when I try to shut things down about 5:15 until the kids go to bed, I am where my feet are. I'm in the moment with my kids. I'm doing the things that I want to do, which is the most important thing to me. Like, I do what I want to do so I can have flexibility and time with my family, my 4 kids, and my wife. That's the thing that matters the most to me. But also, to your point, it allowed me on my business to focus things on that you should be doing, the vision, reaching out to the people that can be game changers for in your business, building that ideal client profile, redefining your values, working on the business part versus doing the invoicing, doing the shipping labels, doing some web scraping just doing the little things that I shouldn't have been doing. Just save me more time to focus on things to get more clients. And like I said, be with my family, but also more importantly, when I am with my family, be in the moment.
Right. And I think I always say this, I always mention this here on the podcast that, me personally, one of the main reason why I started a business is so that I can spend time with my friends and family and provide for them. But then if it comes to a point where I can no longer spend time with my family, my loved ones, because of my business, what's the point? Right? So I love hearing from you that family is your number one priority. And I hope that it goes the same with other entrepreneurs as well, because I don't know, I feel like maybe because I don't really know that much of the family culture here in the States, but the way how we grew up in the Philippines, I think Asian culture, like our family is very tight, although we argue sometimes, but nothing
that's life, right?
Life. Nothing would change the way how we love one another, because we're family. So I'm just so glad to hear that from you. And so
what's funny is that my wife, being half Asian, half Vietnamese, I mean, her 2 sisters and her brother are like her life. It's and it's not that I don't love my sister, but like I look at her bond with her family and wow, like that's a very deep bond that they have. And it's awesome to see. And actually now that we're in Richmond, we moved from DC 2 years ago down to Richmond where our whole family's at. And it was the saving grace to have all our family right here during the pandemic, because we kind of all made a pact like, hey, let's not hang out with other people and hang out together so we can at least have some human interaction that's not just the immediate family. So it was a saving grace, to be honest with you.
Yeah, right. That's true. So what were the first thing or the few things that you first delegated to your VAs?
Yeah, so we do a lot of card creations here. And I would say with technology, it's easier than ever to delegate. So I have a good friend, Troy, who one of the people that kind of pushed me to the head, said, you need to do this. Once again, you're going to do it. And when you do it, record your screen, go step by step with every little task. So no one drops the ball. I use Loom, I think is what it's called. And you just record your screen, like, hey, hit this button and you go over here and click here, and save here. And here's how you save it. Like, almost like the McDonald's franchise system model, right? From how do you turn the lights on to how do you turn the lights off. So a lot of the card creation that was taking time. Now I still kind of create the keys. So when a client sends me, hey, I want to try to get in front of Kristy, I still kind of create the key, like what we should say and what we should produce, which takes me 20 minutes. Whereas if that was taking me 20 minutes, it takes 3 hours to create the cards. Where now a VA is taking the 3 hours and I can hammer out a lot more cards in a day or in a week because I have someone else actually creating the cards. And then video creation, content creation, all the admin work, the shipping, the invoicing, the web scraping, things of those natures were the task. And now I get, as I'm more and more comfortable with outsourcing, to kind of let go of that type A personality. And your partner, Regina, sent an email out like 2 weeks ago, which what I love about you guys are always giving me like tools and ideas to think about. She sent out that top 50 things to delegate. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know you guys did that. So I know I just talked with Jeff a few days ago, and we're gonna do some website audits, help out with some LinkedIn stuff, and we just connected yesterday, and I'm already forgetting her name, but just to help me out with my newsletter. So like just more taking off my plate to focus on the business or be with my family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in total, how many hours have you delegated to your virtual assistants?
So right now it's about 40 hours a week.
40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's probably, some weeks are 30, some weeks are 50. So I just won a big contract with a large firm back in October. We were prioritizing 50, 55. In the last few weeks, it's probably been 30. But it ebbs or flows. And for anybody listening, if you're not working with Kristy, that's what I like about them. They're flexible too. So if you go over this month, they'll adjust down for next month. And if you go under, they'll adjust, which is unbelievable. A lot of people just kind of set in stone, and hey, if you don't use it, it's gone. Not with you guys, so I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wow. So let's say you're delegating 30 to 40 hours of your time, the VAs. So now what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, doing a lot more prospecting, doing a lot more, the ideal client profile building. That's the things working on your business, right, to revenue. Like, so when I won this big corporate deal back in, call it late September, early October, if I didn't have my VA, I would have ran me over. I would have been done.
Right.
I wouldn't have been able to do it. And by all means, this is probably the biggest learning lesson that probably I've ever had as a business owner, what to do and what not to do next time that happens. And I'm sure all my VAs learned as well. And they gave some feedback too and best practices how to do it. So I think if it comes again, which it will, we're prepared for it and can be a lot more efficient. So yeah, I mean, it's just doing the things that I like to do. I like talking to people. This isn't weird for me. A lot of people, I hired a video coach too a few months ago. Like, sitting in front of a camera and recording myself is weird. This has never been weird for me because I sat in front of people for 10 years. I would say the only thing that's weird about this is, I can't look you in the eyes because I look at the camera. But still, if you want to build a $1 billion idea, that's the idea. Like, how do you see someone's eyes, like right here when you're talking to them on a Zoom? So if you can think of that, Kristy, there we go.
That's awesome. So what I want to know right now is, did you ever think about your budget? So when you think about delegating or hiring people to help you out in your business, is budget one of your challenges?
I would say when I was looking for a VA, the only thing that really kind of came into budget was the upfront cost. And that's one thing that really made me attracted to you guys, was there was a lot of these VAs like, hey, $3,000, $4,000 to get upfront set up. And I'm like, well, what happens if in 30 days, this isn't the right fit and I'm out $3,000 or $4,000? That was the only really concern that I had when I was doing it from a budget standpoint. The monthly pay is the monthly pay. That's just what it is. So that was, and what I really liked about what you guys offered and what I was looking for, and I'm glad I found it, was most VA firms, they just give you Kristy. And I think we're all good enough to realize, at least I'm smart enough to realize that I'm only good at a few things. You have a whole team underneath you. So if I need video, I can go to someone. If I need admin stuff, I can go to someone. If I need content, if I need SEO, if I need whatever I need, I have it. So I feel like I have 6-7 employees working with me at your firm versus just having one person kind of doing the admin stuff.
Yeah. And you
why
kind of,
not?
yeah. And you, in a way, you're only paying like for the price of one for a
Yep.
team of virtual assistants. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think I found our unique value proposition. And that is, to provide a team of virtual assistants, because I'm a business owner and I know how it feels like to be talking to different people, contacting different agencies and paying different people. And also, if us business owners don't want to do different things, your VAs are also like that. Like, they cannot do everything because they have different skill set. You cannot force an admin VA to do SEO or website tasks because they're not passionate about it. If they're passionate about it, then they would have learned how to do those things long ago when they started their freelancing career or when they started their virtual assistant journey.
I'll tell anybody listening to this is, think of it this way: if you have some revenue coming in, the biggest issue I see with most businesses now, and I'm only a year in, is that scalability and the time it takes to bring another client in. So let's say you're doing 10 grand a month, just throwing it out there, right? And you want to get to 20. Like, you have to double your workload to get to 10 to 20. So if you're already doing 40 hours a week, that means you're going to 80 hours a week if you're doing it yourself. That's not doable. I mean, it's doable, right? But you're just going to be miserable. And I learned that, 6 months ago when I had this kind of everything kind of fall on me at once. I'm like, okay, I want to grow. I want to get there. I'm already doing 50, 60 hours a week. I know my income a year from now is going to be double, maybe triple, which just means double or triple the work. And I'm not going to be able to do it. So was at the time when I hired my VA probably financially ready? I would say, some would say yes, some would say no. I would say absolutely I was ready, because I wouldn't be able to scale without it. And to my point earlier, with this big company contract I went out, they would have ate me alive.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the matter of knowing your priorities and what you are willing to do in order to achieve your goals. I mean, I just so admire you, for just letting go of maybe pride of doing things alone, because it's not really easy to delegate, because you have to like admit to yourself that you're not the only one who can do the task that you're doing.
Well, too, I think part of it too is your surrounding, right? People find out that you're starting to delegate. Like, oh, are you lazy? It's like, no, I think most people miss the point. Why you're like, no, my business is growing. I'm scaling up. I'm hiring off so I can grow. I mean, how many people does Amazon have working for them? What, 300,000 people? I don't know how many. I'm just throwing a number out there, right? Like, Jeff Bezos couldn't run Amazon just by himself. Like, it's impossible, right? He's got to have people. He's got to have the resources to make that machine go. And
that's so
you
true.
have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a different definition of laziness. It's not being timid or not doing anything, but I kind of consider myself a lazy entrepreneur. As a matter of fact, I actually read an article about that, and I kind of like copied it. I'm like, okay, I'm a lazy entrepreneur, because they say that if you're a lazy entrepreneur, you will only do things that that is important to your business, and you will delegate the rest. And if you are a lazy entrepreneur, you will find ways to do things in the most efficient way. And I don't know who said this. I don't know if it's Gary Vee, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, like one of those people, or Jeff Bezos, one of those guys. Like, they said, or that person said that hire a lazy employee, because that employee will find ways to do the job done easily. So I mean,
we're 29 days away from 2022. Yeah, we had COVID, which was a terrible thing to happen in this country. But I think it took technology 5-10 years that we would have saw it's here now. And if you're not using the tools to be more efficient, like there's this ongoing debate on LinkedIn right now about Calendly, right? Don't send me the link, that's unprofessional. I don't want to go back and forth, email time. Well, that time doesn't work, Kristy. How about this time? Just book a time. Let's go on. If we want to chat, and it saves so much time.
Yeah.
It's called technology. It's supposed to make our lives better, and some people think it's unprofessional, and that blows me away. I'm like, what? No, it's just being efficient.
Yeah, I mean, if you only have 30 seconds to go online, might as well send your Calendly so it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this has been really great, Jeremy. You're a great person. I'm so happy that you have grown your business, and I'm also glad that somehow we are a part of your, success, and you are also a part of our success because you are one of our, committed clients, and you really see the value that we provide to your team, and not all people are like that. So I really appreciate you, and you provided so much value to this podcast. So if any of my listeners are interested to hire you or to know more about your services, where can they find you online?
Yeah. So www.coinflipmarketing.com is my website. I'm extremely active on LinkedIn. Just search Jeremy Blubaugh. It's Blubaugh. Or feel free to text me, 574-360-3431. I'm available. If you're having trouble opening doors, you have those prospects you just can't get in, that's what we do. We help them get you in there and start having those conversations that you should have been having a long time ago.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jeremy.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video and you want to listen to the full episode, please type in Master Delegator on Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast channels, or simply click the link in the description box below. Also, please subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you again on the next episode. Bye.